This is a squid and crawfish. This one is the crawfish and this one is the squid. And they are both bilaterally symmetrical, and it's harder to tell in this one because they were squished in the bag that they were vacuum sealed in. But they have a hard exoskeleton, and they have a inner, I don't know, you can say skeleton, but not really at all, because they have a hydrostatic skeleton since they live all the way in the ocean, and they are not even close to the same animals, and they have a pen on the inside right there, right there, which kind of gives them some support. And it's made out of cartilage, and they have little bits of cartilage on the inside as well, right there, that can kind of give them their shape. As for their modes of transport, crawfish have legs, and squid have siphons, and they move by jet propulsion. They bring in water into their muscular cavity, and they just squish it back out through that siphon. And if they're not walking and they need to get away quickly, for crawfish, they can use their tail, and they shoot themselves backwards to get away quickly. As for digestion and eating, squid have these beaks right here, which can be compared to like fangs or teeth. So they bite their prey that they bring up with their arms, and they bring them to their mouth, which they bite, and then they rip apart shreds, and then they get into their radula. And then the radula has the intestine that leads into the stomach and all of that. But for the crawfish, they have their big claws, and they pick off of things, and then they put it into their mouth, which is under that little plate thing right there. And it's very small, and it goes in there. And then it gets to its first, they have two stomachs. And this first one is called the gastric mill, and I think that is awesome. And they have these teeth, that just kind of rub together and mechanically break down the food until it goes into the second stomach. A crawfish has a closed circulatory system, while a squid has an open circulatory system. And this crawfish has gills just like the squid does, and the gills of the crawfish are connected to the feet and the legs, so when they move with those legs, that the water comes along and is able to move across the gills that go to the heart, and the blood gets pumped to the rest of the body. While for squids, when they move, water has to go through their mantle cavity so that they can push it out of their siphon. But that also gives oxygen to the gills, and the gills are connected to the capillaries, which are connected to the veins, which makes it a closed circulatory system. And those veins go into the heart. Well, they have 3 hearts. The 3 hearts are right there. And this is advantageous for the squid because they are very fast moving and are very reliant on predation. And they just found it advantageous to evolve that way. But it would be beneficial for crawfish to evolve their legs connected to their gills, because when they move, they don't become deoxygenated, though they have a closed circulatory system, so that they can be sustaining of their omnivorous ways. As for uptaking nutrients, once the stomach has digested the food, they pass by the digestive glands right here in the crawfish that eventually go into the intestine, and that's where the uptake of the nutrients gets completed, and then it gets expelled through the anus. And for the squid, they have their esophagus right there, which passes by the liver, and the liver has many functions. It stores and regulates sugars like iron, copper, and vitamins, and detoxifies poisons and toxins that may have entered the body, but also metabolizes carbohydrates and fats. And then once it goes through the liver, it goes to the pancreas, which is like somewhere in there. It might be that. But that secretes digestive juices, but also breaks down sugars, starches, lipids, and proteins. They also help the metabolism of fats and carbohydrates. And once all that happens, it goes through here into the stomach, and then that stomach leads to the cecum, and it further digests everything, and then it has the intestine that runs down somewhere, I don't know, and it goes to the rectum and gets expelled through the anus and out the siphon. As for reproduction, I have 2 males right here, and on the squid, they have testes, and these testes are connected to the penis, and the penis shoots out the sperm, which then gets picked up by one of the arms, and once the male squid finds a female squid, they link up their arms together, and that arm that is holding the sperm puts all of that sperm inside of the female in their sperm receptacles. And then the eggs get fertilized and they sit up here, and then they eventually get released by the females. As for the crawdads, I have a male, and there's a little bit out here that shoots out sperm, and that sperm goes to the female, which holds her eggs right there. And once those eggs are fertilized, she keeps them, and she takes care of them until they eventually hatch out a whole bunch of small little crawdaddies.